guys. Welcome to Happy Healthy Meals with Risa Auger. I am your host, Risa Auger, and I am here to talk about food and dinner, and I guess that is food. But anyway, it is episode 51, and I am so excited to be here. This is only my second video episode, and I'm really hoping to start mastering this. This is my first time recording off of the camera on my phone, off my computer. It's a little strange to be seeing myself so backwards, I guess. So if I look off, this is why. And I am trying to master the art of having a list. So I have a list today. I'm very proud of myself. So I don't forget anything, because previously when I was recording as I drove home from work, I would totally forget things and have to just put them in the notes really quick. And so I guess that was a good way to get you guys to read the show notes, but I really would rather just talk about them the way that I want to, right? So this week's theme is focusing on one thing at a time. Just one thing, not two. One thing at a time. There are so many studies going on that keep saying mindset is everything and that multitasking is a complete myth. And I sort of have been experiencing this. I notice it in the kitchen. I notice when I'm trying to do too many things at once that everything takes forever. But if I do one thing at a time, it all kind of comes together. So I'm going to talk about what's called single tasking, which means just one thing at a time, and then kind of real multitasking, like I call it mama tasking, because it is true multitasking. It's the only kind that works, because you're not actually doing the work, you're letting other things happen around you. And I can tell you that doing things that way makes a huge difference. So one of the ways that I mama task, and you can do daddy task or whatever you want to call it, we could just call it true multitasking. I call it mama tasking because I liken it to a bunch of different chores that you can do all at the same time. But you can do lots of different things. So one of the ways that I do it is if I'm making a casserole, and you guys know this is all about dinner and our meals and stuff, right? So I have prepped, I have wiped things off. I clean as I go. That is not really multitasking, because you are doing two different tasks, right? You're prepping and then cleaning, and then prepping and then cleaning. And if you keep cleaning as you go, then there's not as much cleanup at the end, which is really, really nice. But one of the things I like to do is, while everything is simmering or baking or boiling or whatever, there's always those few minutes right there, right? So I like to use that time to go do something else, which is pack a lunch or switch out the laundry or go do a workout, right? I used to, years back before I had my kid, so I guess it wasn't mama tasking at this point in time, but I used to prep a casserole or pizza or whatever I was making, and I would find a workout that was about that length of time, and I would make sure that it was that length of time plus like a cool down time. So let's say I was making a casserole. Well, I know that that casserole or those veggies or whatever are going to cook for about 40 minutes, plus I get the 20 minutes that takes my oven to warm up, right? So I get turn on the oven, and then put everything together in that 20 minutes, and by the time the oven is warm, everything is ready to go in the oven. So then I throw everything in the oven, and I know that it's going to cook for 30 minutes, so I'm going to go look up a 30-minute workout, right? And have it ready to go before I start. So then I would go work out for 30 minutes, and then I would come back, pull whatever it was out, let it cool, and by the time I took a 5 or 6 minute shower or switched out my clothes or whatever, 10 minutes or less, because that like pre-bed shower is usually very low maintenance, right? Throw on the pajamas, and then by the time you get there, everything is cooled, or it is crusted, or it is whatever it needs to be able to be served. And then you pull out your plates and you plate it and you go, right? But those are things that you can really do as multitasking, is getting things done. I also like to run laundry. I like to run the dishwasher at the same time as the laundry, which maybe is a lot of water at one time, but at least it really is true multitasking. So in those cases, whatever that is going on, that's real multitasking, because you don't have to focus on that. You're setting something and it's going and it's doing what it needs to get done. But if you are trying to focus your brain on more than one thing at a time, it is so not going to happen. So today, my huge encouragement to you guys, beyond going into some inspiration on your meals, is to single task as much as you can in the kitchen so that you are getting things done as quickly as possible. Because if you're like me, you start chopping and you are just like automatically so hungry. So that is where I was going to go with that. Okay, this is so weird. I'm really choppy on this. Um, Everything was looking really weird, but then I did a playback and it's not really weird, so I'm hoping everything is okay for you guys. I'm trying a different app today to do this. So, enough about single tasking, except that I just really want to encourage you guys to try the single tasking, to do one thing at a time, unless it's like things that you don't have to worry about, that you set and forget, and then you set and forget, and then you can do something else. It's also um, a good time to like play games while you bake, or I don't know, do like the fun stuff, right? To relax. I like to fold laundry while my food is cooking, while my dinner is cooking, while my lunch is cooking. I know that's like one day out of the week that I actually do that, but I don't know why folding laundry like relaxes me, gives me something to do while I'm waiting. It's productive. Anyway, that's just one of my things, right? Because I work out in the morning now, and I used to work out at night, which I guess I could go back to since I work at home and I have my own schedule, but I really like getting it done in the morning. Okay, that is a whole other thing, and I will get to my meals for the week. So I'm gonna flip over my notes. You guys, it's like the magic of screen that. You guys don't even see that. All right, so this week on the menu, today is Meatless Monday. So I am going to do a white bean chili tonight, and then I'm going to throw some arugula and kale in there just to have some greens. And then I'm going to serve it with some corn chips for the and maybe some cornbread. I haven't really decided there, but probably chips because I've been in like a crunchy sort of a mood. But there's going to be lots of veggies. I'm starting with classic mirepoix, which is like onions, celery, and carrots. And that just sets off the whole thing, a whole aroma. I'm going to use chili powder. I'm going to use a little bit of smoked paprika to give it that smoky taste in there, a little bit of pepper, and probably some hot sauce at some point too, because my husband and I like things a bit spicy. And chili is one of those things that you can make to your own spice level, and you can do whatever you want with them. I bought a couple of bell peppers that I'm going to throw in there too, just because it's another hidden veggie. And I don't think that the recipe calls for it, but I'm going to add to it. And then I can't wait to tag the guy who wrote it, because he asked for people to tag when they use his recipe as a base. Which reminds me, when you guys make my recipes or do my ideas, tag me, because I want to see everything. I want to know what you're making, and I want to know if this was helpful or not. Okay, so tomorrow we are having wings and fries and salad, but the fries are fries. They're really just root vegetables disguised as French fries, and I'm so excited to try them. They are a new product, and this was actually on my list for last week, and we didn't get to make them because things get crazy. But I am craving some darn wings, and so we're gonna have wings tomorrow. And then the day after that, that is like one of my have to throw it together super fast days, because I get home late, and then there's softball and all that kind of stuff. So we are having savory quinoa with some turkey kielbasa. The kielbasa, is like pre-cooked. So I'm basically coming home and I am chopping and sauteing really quick while I warm up the quinoa mix that I picked up at Trader Joe's, of course, because everything I buy is at Trader Joe's. And they were doing this as the taste tester thing for the week. For Sunday, this is what they were taste testing, and so of course I bought it because it was freaking delicious. And I'm just gonna add the kielbasa to that, and probably some greens too, probably some kale, because it comes with kale in it, and it has pecans and this harvest dressing. And I thought the turkey would go really well with it. The kielbasa I did not get at Trader Joe's; they actually don't have it, or if they do, I've never seen it. But I got it at Target, but you can get it at Ralph's or Kroger, which is the same thing. Aldi, anywhere. I'm having that day. And then I am having veggie pizza with ribs because we got ribs in our butcher box because I ordered them because they looked really good and they were like a new thing. And so I had to try them because I love my butcher box. So I'm starting with the veggie crust from Trader Joe's and throwing a couple more veggies on there. And then our protein is going to be the side. And then the next night, I'm doing garlic parmesan tuna stuffed potatoes. I'm just going to bake the potatoes. I'm going to grill the tuna with the parmesan and some seasoning. And then I'm going to do roasted broccoli on the side of that as our veggie of the day. So that's going to be really, really yummy. One thing that I wanted to impress on you guys, and I think that I repeat this often, but I did just want to repeat it one more time, is that I tend to really focus on the veggies, and I pick the veggies first when I'm planning my meals because I like to space them out and I like to pick things that I know my husband and my daughter really like. And so whatever I make, if I make it something spicy for me and my husband, I make it super plain for her. So I'll just take it right off the grill, or I'll steam it separate or something like that and put a tiny bit of butter and maybe some Parmesan cheese, and that's about it on her veggies. Depends on which veggies it is. But I try to make sure that she is getting what we're getting, but maybe just a little less flavor, right? She likes things really plain. But because I pick my veggie first and the protein second, that helps me really focus and get those greens, get those colorful veggies, get this colorful fruit into my diet, into my meal plan, so that that's the focus. And that's where you want to be. Half your plate should be salad or veggies, and then your complex carbs should be a little bit, and then your lean protein should be a little bit, and then your healthy fat should be just a smidge, like just enough to give you a little bit of flavor and feel full, and grease the pan. That's what my mom calls it, greasing the pan. If you're cooking in your olive oil or you're dolloping with avocado or whatever you're using, or putting some cheese on, whatever your healthy fat is, make sure that it is the tiniest part of your meal and that your veggies and your salad and things like that are the most of your meal, so that you are getting the most bang for your buck, because all those vitamins and minerals are in there. You do need your lean proteins and you do need your complex carbs, but if you start with your veggies and focus on your veggies, that's going to give you a more complete meal, and it's going to give you a better source of all of those vitamins and minerals in every single meal, especially when you space them out, right? So I'm crazy, and I know that I don't like to have the same thing a bunch of days in a row. Like, I get real bored real fast. So even like a lot of times my leftovers from dinner, I'll eat 2 days later for lunch. And that's like, there is no nutritional value in that. Like, there's no like advantage to that whatsoever, except that I get bored. And that's it. That's the be all end all of that story. So if you start with a focus, this is, remember, single focusing. Let's single focus when you're meal planning. It makes it easier because you're just doing one thing at a time. And so if you plan out all of your veggies on each day, and I can show you my meal plan. It's going to be backwards probably, but this is my meal plan. I'm trying to get it so you can actually see it. See? So on each day, I do the veggie first, and then I'll do the protein, and then I'll figure out what my healthy fat or carb is, because usually my healthy fat is just the olive oil that I'm cooking in, or like on taco day, it is the guacamole or the sour cream or something like that. So usually my healthy fat is really easy for me to figure out. I'm trying to sit up a little bit straighter, but it's like it's opposite. It's so weird. So weird. I'm not used to this yet. Okay. And that is my big advice for the day, is to single focus and spread out your veggies, and to plan your veggies first, as while you're single focusing, while you're doing your meal planning. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for listening or watching. Thank you so much for your time, for being here, for following me, for subscribing to this, whether you are on iTunes listening or if you are on YouTube watching. Hit that subscribe button because that helps my ratings so more people can get happy, healthy meals with Risa Auger. So, I'm itchy. Oh my gosh, all of a sudden. Sorry, guys. I know that's annoying when you're watching other videos because I do the same thing. I'm like, oh, why did she do that? But you know what? You get nervous, and I'm a little nervous. I must admit that, since I'm on video now. So anyway, I hope this inspires you. Visit me on my social media so that you can see how my meals actually turn out, how I plate them, what the serving size is like. And one day I should start plating like my plate versus the husband's plate because he just has so much more food on his plate. Um, and maybe I'll talk about that next week if I remember that I want to talk about plating next week. But for now, just follow me on social media. I am at creative.fit.hungry everywhere, Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest. I'm just Risa Auger if you want to see the things that I'm pinning. So, like, if you want to see this chili recipe, it's on there, I promise, because I just put it there like the other day when I did my meal plan. So, if you want to see that, go to my Pinterest at Risa Auger, and then everything else is at creative.fit.hungry. Let's see, I am not on Twitter, so don't try to find me on Twitter because I am not a fan of Twitter. I don't know why. You know how some things like you get used to, but I'm not a Twitter fan. That's it. Leave me a note or a review. Those are like gold in social media world. So a review would be like, oh, this whole big thank you thing from me. And other than that, have a great week. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next week.